And for hundreds of thousands of foreign nationals trapped in an escalating crisis in West Asia, the past week has been defined by the fear of missiles falling from the sky and chaos at the airports. Several governments have started evacuating their citizens, but several others find themselves stranded, left to find their own way out. Britain's first repatriation flight from Oman landed safely at London's Stansted Airport. The plane carried British nationals who had been stranded in Gulf countries since the war began. The flight departed from Muscat, with the most vulnerable people being prioritized.
Under the missiles and stuff, so for the sake of my children, we were like, we're just going to come back. So yeah, so we just ended up doing that because we could hear like the windows shudder and like things. It's quite a scary time to be honest. But
the evacuation process has also been far from smooth. Some passengers say there were last-minute delays before the flight could finally depart.
There was a bit of a last-minute sort of, you can call it a shambles. It got reported where we were all on a bus waiting to get onto the plane, but we were just sort of held on the bus for ages, and so we didn't make it. We had to turn back.
The scale of the evacuation challenge is massive. Britain said some 300,000 of its citizens were in Gulf countries, either on holiday or in transit or permanently based there. At the same time, commercial flights from major hubs including Dubai, Doha, Abu Dhabi, Bahrain, Oman and Tel Aviv have been disrupted. British Airways says more repatriation flights from Oman are planned in the coming days. Similar scenes are playing out in Canada. Passengers arriving in Toronto from Abu Dhabi say the journey home was filled with fear. Some described watching missiles cross the sky during the conflict.
We saw the missiles everywhere, so that was horrible and terrifying. So that's why we are feeling relaxed now.
With some countries proactively organizing evacuations, frustration is growing among other stranded travelers. Canadian passengers say that their government advised them to shelter in place when the war began, with no evacuation plan in place.
I heard from the Canadian government on this. We have been in constant contact from day one, and they just said we don't have any evacuation plans. So if you can shelter in place, and then if you can make it out safely, go ahead. But they weren't one of the countries that was evacuating citizens.
Similar complaints have also come from some U.S. travelers who say they contacted the U.S. State Department but were told to find commercial flights out of the region.
We actually called the U.S. Department of State phone number that they've been promoting. Call us, we'll help you get out of there. They were absolutely useless. They said, shelter in place. And we said, but you're telling us also to get out immediately. And they said, we have absolutely no evacuation plans from UAE right now.
One traveler in Abu Dhabi said the U.S. Embassy phone line had been disconnected, replaced by an automated message telling citizens to seek commercial flights.
The embassy line to the U.S. Embassy in Abu Dhabi actually had been cut off. You could not reach them, and they had recorded an automated message that I actually brought down because I was really shocked, saying if you're a U.S. citizen stranded in Abu Dhabi, we will not be providing evacuation or repatriation help. Please try to get on commercial flights.
Despite the chaos, the U.S. State Department says at least 17,000 Americans have left the region since the war began. Air travel across West Asia remains heavily disrupted. Several countries have closed or restricted their airspace since the conflict escalated. Qatar Airways says it has temporarily suspended flights, while Qatari airspace remains closed. The airline says services will resume only when authorities declare the airspace safe. With airspace still restricted, thousands of people remain stranded across West Asia. And as the war continues to escalate, the race to evacuate foreign nationals is far from over, and more repatriation flights are expected in the days ahead.
Power doesn't end quietly. Some deaths are not accidents. They are messages. A gunshot. A crowd. A country frozen. The killer disappears. The questions don't. This is not just about who died. It's about what followed. Governments fell. Armies moved. History rewrote itself. 5 leaders. 5 moments. One pattern. The assassination.